But since we last spoke yesterday with the dollar, I haven't really seen too much, to be honest. The market overall has been steadily moving to the upside. I'm still looking to see what we can do at this area. I think this is still a smart place for a short. Again, the emphasis is with the shorter time frames. I wouldn't be looking for anything too major with the dollar, because I do think we are quite oversold. I do think we are quite stretched here, and I do think the market is slowly running out of momentum and probably looking at a bigger pullback in due course. So I'm personally waiting to buy the dollar. I'm waiting for opportunity to take this higher. As I've been saying since last week, I'm kind of waiting for a strong up move first before I entertain that, and then some pullbacks for some longs later on. That's really where my head's at with the dollar if I'm looking to take some swings to the upside. At the moment, we are pushing back into some healthy resistance, of course, prior support, small area of supply here to consolidate briefly, nice push down. And as you can see, price is now back within that same zone. We did test it briefly Monday, sorry. A little bit of reaction to the downside. We're back there again, still rejecting it. So I think this is still a smart place for a short. You got a very nice ascending channel on the way up. Again, I'll probably drop to the low time frames for opportunities, maybe like the 15-minute chart. Let's see if we can run back to the highs, look for an entry off the back of that, maybe a nice double top there, and then looking for a short off that. Doesn't have to be a crazy move all the way back to lows. That's the key point really with the USD. We are bearish overall, yes, but the market is running out of steam. So I think shorts look good, but I wouldn't be looking for anything crazy. I think maybe we do get back to these lows, maybe even see new lows, but I think because of how corrective we are behaving, the market is running out of steam and possibly getting ready for a bigger push to the upside. So I wouldn't be getting too carried away looking for big swings here, because we've already seen them. So likely we are going to see some upside soon, and we'll wait and see when that does happen. But like I said, for buying opportunities, I want price to really rip through that, perhaps break out the channel as well. And then I can discuss some pullback opportunities, maybe a retestable level as support, and then we can discuss some buys. But we're still at least a few days away from that, so not going to dive too much into that for now. The shorts make the most sense at that level. Taking that information into Euro, which is pretty much the flip, although we're not quite at that support level that corresponds to the DXY just yet. It would be kind of this area here. I like the resistance here. I like the brief area of consolidation. Nice demand level there. Strong push to the upside. And it would be nice to see price come back and retest that. Again, similar to the DXY, we've got a bit of a channel as well here, connecting the most recent swing lows and connecting the most recent swing highs. And you can see price has been pretty much operating within that channel. Slightly poked above it, but for the most part, respecting the channel pretty well. Again, we've got some nice confluence just below us here. That would be a smart place to pick up some longs there for euro dollar. Again, same situation. Euro has been heading to the upside for a while. I do think a bigger counter trend move, maybe reversal. We have to wait and see. But I do think we can see a lot more downside in the near future, and that's kind of really where my opportunities will lie. I'm not so keen on buying euro and just keep taking this to the upside, because it does look quite tight. But again, I do think this is a small place for a buy for a day or two. We'll see how price reacts. Not quite there yet, so still need to get there first. But I think this is still a small place for a buy, depending how we react. If you can see some healthy rejections, you got some smart confluence there with the higher lows meeting up well with that trend line, as well as price moving into that area of demand. Excuse me, just sneezed. Coming to that area of demand, of course, you got that broken resistance also turn it support as well. So a smart place for a buy, just above 1.16, and potentially we do see a run back to highs as well. So that's why I like the opportunity, because maybe we do bounce and then later go and break through, or maybe we do bounce and we see a big push to highs. As a trader, that's not for us to decide, but as we manage the trade, we can see what signs we're getting from price. Is it looking likely that will continue, or maybe momentum is running out? We'll have to wait and see, but still a smart place for entry, so definitely keep an eye on that. Pound USD, same situation really with euro as well. You got this ascending channel here. If I connect the higher lows, connect the swing points as well, even connect this point there too, you can see price has been doing a very good job at just fluctuating within this channel. I did point out this area here just below us, haven't quite tagged into it yet. I was looking for price to tag into this area of demand and that trend line as well. I think this is a smart place for a buy. We are seeing some pretty strong exaggerated wicks beneath us here, so it does look like price is finding support at the moment, but in my book, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, really, not really testing any area of significance. So I would want to see price push to the downside a little bit lower, come and test that 1.35 area. Not only do we have that trend line, but we've got this area which we had a nice consolidation and price ripped to the upside very aggressively. So smart place for a buy. And again, same situation with euro. We might see a rally all the way back to the high. That's a possibility, of course. Or maybe just last for a day or two and then price eventually breaks through. Maybe pound is tired and it does want to have a bigger correction. That is, of course, a possibility as well. So I would suggest if you're on the lower time frames, keep a close eye at 1.35. I think that's a very smart place for a buy and where we could see price potentially rally from as well. So as an intraday trader, that's kind of the areas I'll be looking to try and operate in. In terms of dollar CAD, been pretty bullish with this one. We've had a nice breakout and looks like momentum is sort of continuing. We're kind of stuck at resistance here a little bit, but I do feel like we can see a lot more upside for dollar CAD. Same reasons for the other USD pairs. I'm expecting some USD strength in the next coming days. Of course, from a daily standpoint, we've come back into a very healthy area of demand. You can see we did consolidate here, massive move to the upside. Now's the first time we're coming back to retest that zone. I think if we can see some buys enter the market again here, which looks like we're seeing, we could see a bit of a push to the upside. I'm not necessarily saying expecting a big reversal here for dollar CAD. I'm just looking for a bit of a push up, especially because the bearish structure has been very corrective on the way down. So it's not like we're seeing an aggressive bearish trend anymore. That's not the case. It's been very slow, very corrective, which normally does imply prices finding support and getting ready to push higher, which we did see at the start of the week. And then I did suggest the idea of a retest of this area, which unfortunately doesn't look like has happened. This would have been a smart place for a buy. You got prior resistance, demand there, nice rally to the upside, of course breaking outside of this bearish channel. So ideally, it would have been nice for price to come back and retest that zone, find some entries, and then take it to the upside. At the moment, it looks like price kind of just consolidated. It's looking slightly bullish, but yeah, kind of running out of steam a little bit. I wouldn't rule this opportunity out completely. I can see a world where we do push down before we do push up, but it could be a situation where we kind of slowly pick up the pace like that, which might not provide the best of opportunities to get into a trade, but I would be bullish on dollar CAD nonetheless, and targets we push back into that high at 1.379. So pretty bullish on dollar CAD, expecting more USD strength. There might be some opportunities on the pullback, so keep an eye on that, especially intraday. But yeah, I'm expecting a lot more upside. Nice double bottom. I do still see more upside there for dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, again, being pretty bearish on this one, but price is doing a very good job at respecting the lower end of this channel here. Again, I'll be looking for opportunities to sell Aussie dollar, preferably at the high of the channel, so around this 0.66 area, hoping for a stab into the high of the channel and then a short. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case, so we kind of just hovered, or that might not be the right word, but we were just kind of floating below it and not quite testing the up end of the channel like we did previously over here, which is kind of what I was banking on before entering any trades. To take some shorts on Aussie, but no, we sold off. We had some Aussie news a couple nights ago, strong push to the upside since then. Price is kind of reacting to the low end of the channel. My focus is still the up end of the channel. If I can find another push into the high, I'll be very happy to take some shorts up there. Not really looking to operate within these areas. I do think the market is likely to break lower, especially when we do have corrective ascending channels that look like this. Most of the time we normally do break lower, so the direction I want to be trading in is to the downside, and of course the location would be as high as I can take it, which would be of course the upper end of the channel. So looking for another drive higher for Aussie dollar. Whether we get it or not, again, not too sure. But that's kind of where I want to find my entry. So I have to be patient, wait to see if that can set up, and see if we can take some shorts off the back of that. But that's kind of where I'm interested in for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, similar situation, although I think the ship has sailed with this one. Again, you got another ascending channel here connecting the dots. If I bring this down, you can see again operating within that channel. A lot of USD markets kind of moving within a channel recently. Euro, pound, Aussie, New Zealand dollar. Of course, the DXY has been heading a nice channel to the downside. So we've been seeing a lot of these patterns recently, which is a strong sign to tell us that the USD pairs are running out of steam, and maybe could be looking at a bit of a reversal soon. But we can get into that when we actually see it happen. But for now, yeah, New Zealand dollar stuck within the middle of the channel. Not really the best areas to operate in my opinion. The best places are always going to be the upper or the lower end of the channel. That's where you want to spend your time, do your business. In the middles where you're going to get caught with a bit of fluctuation. Not to say that you won't get a winning trade. You obviously can. You can find a winning trade anywhere. But just in terms of optimal and consistency, you do want to be, in these areas. So I would personally stay away. I would favor more downsides. The only way I see an opportunity here with USD is if we do see another push back to the up end of the channel, which may or may not happen. If it does, keep an eye out. Could be some shorts up there. But yeah, personally, I'm pretty bearish with this one. Looking for another push into the lower end of the channel. And we'll see what happens from there. Maybe we do bounce again. Maybe we see another push higher. Maybe we break out this time. We'll see how price looks when we get there. But for now, still overly pretty bearish here on USD. Gold's been a little bit of a nuisance. Price action is just all over the shop, really. Slowly rolling over to the downside quite correctively. Yeah, I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity. I did speak about some buys here this week. I said keep an eye out for some buys. We did see a nice rally at the start of the week. However, when we came back a second time, didn't really see much of a reaction. Price did come there. Nice wick through the low. Bit of a reaction there, but it looks like we are breaking to the downside. So, yeah, I'm personally not really interested with gold. Maybe we do react with this area here just below us. Nice area of demand. Brief consolidation, nice rally to the upside. Maybe we do see a bit of a rally there, but I think we probably just form another lower high and come back down. Again, the key kind of aspect with gold is that we are very flat. We are ranging here. So my honest judgment of gold is just to stay away, really. Especially if you're looking for a bigger swing, you're trying to follow the trend with gold. Now is just not the best time for that because the conditions are very, very flat from the 4 hour and below. Of course, if you zoom out, look at the daily, look at the weekly, the bigger trajectory of the market, it's a very, very bullish market. So I would still be bullish overall on gold 100%. But in the range there, in the consolidation is kind of where I want to stay away because it's very easy to take some low quality positions and just give back some profits to the market unnecessarily. So if price can get back to the low here, I would be interested. I think that's a smart place for a buy. Whether we will see a massive continuation or just a reaction, we'll have to find out. But in this area is where you're going to get caught with a lot of noise. So personally, I would stay away. This is what I was mentioning yesterday. And I really do stand by that. Again, not to say that you won't find a winning trade. Of course you can. But it's a lot easier to find a losing trade. I'll say that as well. So personally, I would stay away from gold. I don't really have a clear setup apart from the bigger pullback, which will take a few days anyway. And silver seems to be doing a similar kind of pattern in terms of the consolidation, not really showing much signs. I don't mind silver too much because we do have some direction with it. Very strong impulsive move, now a form of consolidation. So yes, the price action inside the range is a little bit choppy and difficult to read, but the way I see it, we just had a big impulse. The market now is just having a breather. And I would expect us eventually to break again to the upside, and that probably could provide some opportunities on a retest for some more upside. And this becomes a very nice opportunity on the retest for some entries to take it higher. So I don't mind the consolidation with silver because it's a little bit more neat and tidy. And if you can see another sharp breakout like the momentum we had before the range, well, the retest looks good for a buy. So silver, I quite like. Of course, I'm not looking to talk. I'm not looking to trade within the range, but I think there's still clear opportunities with it. I like the retest of this level here as well. Prior resistance here at 34.8. If price can come back and retest that, I think that's a sensible place for a buy as well. And of course, if we can break the highs here too, I think that's another sensible place for a buy. So silver, there's some opportunities on the cards, not quite here yet. Might take a few days, so have to be patient. Like I said, not looking to trade within the range, but still overly bullish, only looking really to buy the pair at this moment in time.